What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Monica Love, and today I've decided to do a video briefly just explaining the richest signs in 2019. So, as you know, every single year there's one lucky sign out of the whole entire zodiac, and I'm going to be discussing what makes a sign lucky, what are some of the things you can look for, what are some of the things that you can do to capitalize on being lucky and being wealthy and being rich. And the main thing I want to let you know is that, it's important that throughout astrology, okay, you understand where certain planets are transiting. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what transits are, what are some of the things that you can study and know in advance to really know these things. Because, just to go back a little bit in time, the British Empire had an astrologer. And the reason why they had an astrologer was because the astrologer would not necessarily predict, but it would plan out the certain movements that these empires would do. Okay, certain movements that they would do. Okay, for example, right now I'm doing this video and we're in Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is not a time to really start anything new. It's not a time to start a new business. It's not a time, to start a new relationship. It's not a time to really start anything. And what the astrologers would do in that time is that they would guide these higher, kings and queens in that time to teach them what was appropriate and what wasn't appropriate. And they would follow that as a guideline or a calendar. So it's almost like having an advisor, okay? A lot of people have financial advisors. A lot of people have trainers to train them. A lot of people have fashion designers. There's a lot of people out there that have mentors that guide them on their success path and their journey. And that's what this video is about. This video is about telling you not only what are the richest signs in 2019, but how you can also capitalize on this year, because every year counts. So if you're aware of where the energies are in certain areas of a chart, then you're better prepared to maximize the energy of this year. Okay, so we're only in March, right? So we have about 9 more months to go, right? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Beautiful. Okay, so what I've done here is I've created my Zodiac chart here. Don't mind my circle, it's kind of wonky. But yeah, anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this chart here, and I'm going to explain to you through every sign what's going on here. Okay, so the first sign here, we have Aries, then we have Taurus, then we have Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then we have Pisces. Okay, so these are the 12 placements of a chart. Okay, we call them houses or areas of life. Okay, so each house represents something. Now, if we're talking about a transit is something that, okay, for example, I'll use an example. For example, right now we have Venus in Aquarius, which is right here. And at the end of the month, it's going to move into Pisces. So whenever a planet is in a certain sign at a given time, it transits that sign, okay? Let's say your birthday, let's say you are a Pisces, okay? Let's say you were born under the sign of Pisces. If you were born under the sign of Pisces, then the sun is going to transit out of your sign into Aries eventually. It's not going to stay into Pisces forever. Okay, so that's considered a transit. Now, the two signs that represent wealth in astrology, there's two main signs, okay? There's a sign that represents big wealth and a sign that represents small wealth, okay? When we're talking about big wealth, we're talking about the sign of Jupiter, okay? Jupiter is the biggest, up until this point in time, is the biggest planet in the solar system. So whenever Jupiter is transiting any of these signs, right, that's how you know that money and luck is coming to you. Okay, and I'm going to get into where Jupiter currently is now, in what part of the chart right now. Okay. So the second indicator of wealth is Venus. Venus it rules possessions. It rules the physical things in life, okay? The physical materialistic objects in this life. So Venus represents physical materials in this life, and Jupiter rules expansion. Okay, it also rules foreign languages. But in this sense, we're talking about luck and expansion. So when those two planets are at work in your chart, every sign is lucky. Every sign has the potential to be rich. There's no one sign that is going to be rich or lucky or successful. Everybody has different signs in their chart. So even if you are a Pisces, let's say you're a Pisces, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you're only a Pisces. You could have a Libra moon. You could be a Leo rising. You can be a Scorpio sun. It really depends on your birth chart. And literally you can find your birth chart anywhere, like anywhere online, really. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss where Jupiter is this year in 2019, because we're talking about 2019. And 2019 is very interesting because, and I'm going to use these little magnets. I don't know if you can see them because the sun's really bright, but these magnets as planets. And I'm going to use them on my chart for you to better understand how these aspects work and how astrologers use these aspects to help people be aware of the energies, okay, that are going on. So, for example, right now we have Jupiter. So this is Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Okay, so you can see there I have the planet Jupiter in Sagittarius, and then I have Neptune in Pisces. Okay, so you'll see that these two planets create some sort of angle. They create a 90-degree angle. Okay, now a 90-degree angle can be a little challenging for some people. Okay, it could be a little challenging, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I just want to show you guys how the planets interact with each other. Okay, so then we also have, I'm going to take this as Venus. This is going to be my Venus. And I'm going to put Venus in Aquarius, which is right here. So you see that creates a different aspect because it becomes closer now. And then you have Pluto or Saturn. You have Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. So that creates a very close sextile. We call it sextile in astrology. Okay. So all of these things that happen with the planets are language. It's called communication. So anytime one planet's here and one planet's here, one planet's here, one planet's here, and vice versa, that's the planets communicating. And through that communication, you start to become aware of the energies that are going on in the world around us. Okay. So it's really important that you're aware of these things because, like I say in a lot of my videos, I'm going to just focus on the sign of Sagittarius for a second, which is right here. And then I'm going to go through each sign. So stay tuned, watch this video, because I'm going to go through each sign and I'm going to talk about every single sign. So the sign of Sagittarius, okay, this is Jupiter. I'm going to put Jupiter right here in Sagittarius. So in 2019, if we really want to talk about which sign is the luckiest sign in 2019, it's Sagittarius. Okay. But it doesn't mean that all other signs aren't lucky. It does not mean that because Jupiter can be aspecting your planets in other houses. So you could be a completely different sign, but still be benefiting from Jupiter. But if you're not aware of how you can benefit or how the aspect is happening with your sign, it's difficult for you to understand the benefits and reap the rewards. Okay, so it's really important that you watch this video and understand exactly what I'm saying to really understand and maximize your wealth, right? In 2019. Okay, so Jupiter is here in Sagittarius, okay? And a lot of Sagittarius, the sign of Sagittarius is going to be lucky this year. And the reason why Sagittarius is lucky is because Sagittarius is actually ruled by Jupiter. So every single sign has a ruling planet, okay? So I'll go through that. Now, Aries, which is here in the first house, is ruled by Mars. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Gemini by Mercury. Cancer by the Moon. Leo by the Sun. Virgo by Mercury. Libra by Venus. Scorpio by Pluto. It used to be ruled by Mars, but it's ruled by Pluto because when they discovered Pluto, they attached it to the sign of Scorpio. Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter, where Jupiter currently is in right now. Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Then you have Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. Aquarius by Uranus. And then you have Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. Okay. So each of these planets represent a sign. Okay. So some people are more connected to other planets than others. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to talk about what signs have the potential to be the richest in 2019 and which signs are the luckiest. So richest and luckiest signs. So going back to Sagittarius, Sagittarius is a fire sign. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So when Jupiter, this is Jupiter, when Jupiter is actually here in Sagittarius, it means that it's in its home sign. It's more potent when it's in its home sign. But there's aspects, okay, which, aspects are when planets are in certain, places that create certain angles. Okay, so let's say Sagittarius, the opposite sign of Sagittarius is Gemini. If you have a planet that's here and you have Jupiter here, that's opposition. That's an opposition, okay? And when we think of an opposition, we think of like war, we think of duality, we think of challenges, okay? So it's important to know the transits that happen. It's important to watch my videos every month to see where these planets are hitting so that you can know when to execute your goals, your business, your partnerships, your career moves, making money, whatever you plan on doing. You want to make sure that you're aware of the energies that are happening. Okay, so going back to the luckiest and richest signs. So Sagittarius is a fire sign. And when we talk about fire signs, we're talking about Sagittarius. Okay, so this is Sagittarius, this is a fire sign. And we're talking about Aries, and then we're talking about Leo. Okay, so these signs, Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, are very lucky this year. This is the year for the fire signs because Jupiter is in a fire sign currently right now. So a lot of Aries and Leos are going to feel like this year they're accomplishing more, they're building more wealth, they're building better relationships, they're more calm than they were in previous years. Okay. So if you're an Aries or a Leo, comment below and let me know what you think about this year and how you feel about this year. Okay. I'm going to move on to the earth signs. So that's Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. And Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo are actually doing very well for the next few months. They're doing very well than they would have done in, let's say, January, February, and March. And the reason why Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are doing better is because we had Uranus, which was in Aries. Uranus was here. Okay, this is going to be Uranus. And now it's moving, okay, out of Uranus and it's moving into Taurus. Okay. So there's a lot of planets in Capricorn, in the sign of Capricorn. And, January, February, and March, we had Uranus here in Aries. And with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, it became very annoying for a lot of the earth signs. Okay, because this square, especially for Capricorns, a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff who are Capricorns right now. Okay, I can give you a few examples. For example, R. Kelly, he's a Capricorn. The Prime Minister of Canada is Justin Trudeau. A lot of Capricorns are going through extreme personal changes. Now, you don't have to be a Capricorn to be going through these personal changes. You could be a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising and still be going through these changes, and they're huge changes. But now with this Uranus planet that was in Aries, actually, it left yesterday. Uranus left yesterday. If you're talking about sidereal astrology, it didn't leave because sidereal astrology is the actual planets like in this time. But when we're talking about tropical astrology, that moved to Taurus. Okay, so it's now in Taurus. Okay, so what does that create? Okay, that creates a trine because you have Taurus and you have Capricorn. It's now equal because these signs are in earth signs. So whenever planets are in the earth signs, it creates balance. Not balance, but it creates groundedness. It's, you're grounded. So what a lot of the earth signs are going to find, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, what you guys are going to find is you're going to find that the unbalance that you felt or the ungroundedness that you felt is going to really ground you and prepare you for next year. So a lot of the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, are going to be grounded for next year. And why do I say that? Because whenever Jupiter is in one sign, it moves every year. So Jupiter moves into different signs every year. So next year it will be in Capricorn, then it will be in Aquarius, then it will be in Pisces, and then it will go on so forth all around the zodiac. And this is why it's important to watch this video, because you could prepare for your luck to come. When your luck is coming, you can prepare for it. And this is what I say. This is what I always say to everybody who's interested in astrology and maximizing your astrological luck, to gain more finance, to be more lucky, is to always watch you know, where Jupiter is, because now Jupiter is in Sagittarius. But what's going to happen is that once it leaves Sagittarius, it's going to go into Capricorn. A lot of Capricorns are not feeling, they're not really feeling lucky right now. A lot of Capricorns, not every Capricorn, some Capricorns, but most Capricorns, I would say like 35% of you don't feel lucky. You feel like there's so much burden on you. There's just so much going on because you have Pluto. You have Pluto here. Okay. This is, you know, this is an example of Pluto in Capricorn right here, this dot. And when Capricorn and Saturn is in your sign, it's really draining. It could be very like, you know, everybody's pointing the finger at you. You know, you feel like you're going through a whole bunch of transformations. Your life is changing. Some people might, you know, some Capricorns might feel attacked. But here's the thing, okay? In a couple of months, Jupiter is going to go retrograde. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, it's getting ready to move from one sign to the next sign. And I find, you know, this is so important. I find with Jupiter, Jupiter will sit in Sagittarius, but Capricorns will start to have luck before Jupiter even gets into their sign. What do I mean by that? Well, Jupiter, okay, is already working on moving into Capricorn. So what that means is that there's going to be opportunities. There's going to be things available. You know, it's like sometimes bad things happen to us, but they're blessings in disguise. But you have to be able to figure out, you know, what your opportunities are, because you could have like a huge opportunity in a bowl of shit, literally. You could have a bowl of amazing stuff and there's just like, you know, shit. It looks like shit, but there's really amazing stuff in it, if that makes sense. So a lot of people are going to feel this shift when the sign of Sagittarius has Jupiter moving outside of its sign into Capricorn. So I would say in 2020, a lot of the earth signs are going to feel the changes that are happening, but they're starting to feel them now. And the reason why they're feeling them now is because Uranus has now moved from the sign of Aries into Taurus. Okay. So I would say the earth signs are fairly, you know, they're the second bunch of signs that are lucky. Okay. That have the potential to make a lot of wealth in 2019 if they use, you know, if you use what you already have. If you look at your situation and you're like, wow, this, you know, the situation I'm in, it's shit. I'll give you an example, okay? I'm going to go back to R. Kelly. I know it's a very controversial topic, but it's a good example. I'm going to use this example. So, for example, R. Kelly, a lot of people are pointing at him, pointing their eyes at him, like saying, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. But nobody really talked about R. Kelly before all these scandals. R. Kelly was kind of under a rock. He was literally, for the past few years, he wasn't really making music. He wasn't really in the media. Nobody was really talking to him. Then all of a sudden, these women came out and started saying, well, you know, R. Kelly sexually assaulted me, and I'm not going to get into the whole drama, but, you know, there's people obviously accusing him, okay? But before that, they weren't. So what do I mean by this? I mean that he's obviously making money right now. He's making money right now. Maybe a lot of people can't see him making money, but he does make money on publicity, on going to interviews, and you know, to me it's a whole game. Now, I know some people aren't going to agree with this, but this is my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that he is making money, you know, mostly either off of interviews or off of documentaries that these women are doing. There's definitely money involved. And that's, to me, a blessing in disguise, because even though you're going through shit, you're still making money. And that's what this whole entire video is about. How to, you know, what are the richest signs of this year? Well, Capricorn is one of them, but most Capricorns they're not making money the way they could be making money. because a lot of you are going through a lot of trials and errors, and you think, oh, well, how am I supposed to make money out of this situation? But there's always a way to make money in a situation that's bleak. There's always a way if you just look and you see. If you can turn the crap you're in now into something profitable, that's how you can really become wealthy as a Capricorn. Okay? So that's my example with R. Kelly. And I really, really honestly believe that he's making money. He is. Okay? Whether, there's no two ways about it. So for Capricorns, it's important that you prepare now for your success, because Jupiter is going to be entering your sign at the end of this year. It's going to start moving into Capricorn. Okay. Taurus is going to benefit from this, and Virgo. And they're also benefiting from Uranus being in Taurus now, because Uranus is more of it's a surprise planet. It's an unpredictable planet. And the thing that I like about unpredictability and spontaneity is that you can always capitalize it if you know how to do it. I'll give you an example. Trends. I believe trends are ruled by Uranus, because they could be ruled by Mercury because they're short-lived, but some trends last for a very long time. Okay, some trends last for 10 years, depending on what kind of trend it is, but you have to be able to be ready to capitalize on it. A good example of a trend would be like yo-yos. Okay, remember in, I think the late 90s, everyone had a yo-yo and everybody was yo-yoing, and you were doing all these different tricks, right? They had like the cradle and the walking dog. And remember that those were trends. Everybody had to have a yo-yo. So a lot of the earth signs can make money off of trends, because Uranus is transiting Taurus right now. And Taurus is actually ruled by Venus, which is the money sign. Taurus also rules the second house. So when Uranus is here, we're talking about trends. We're talking about, like makeup on Instagram, or we're talking about, I'll give you another example, the whole Jordan Woods and Khloe Kardashian thing. I've seen so many YouTubers posting stuff about the scandal and what happened, and everybody is just capitalizing off of this stuff left, right, and center, because everybody's talking about it and everybody wants to hear what everybody else's opinion is about this stuff. So if you know how to use Uranus when it moves into Taurus to create trends, and I'm not just talking about short-lived trends, but being able to jump on the bandwagon fast. You have to be able to jump on the bandwagon really quickly. And that's why I also believe trends can potentially be ruled by Mercury, because trends happen so quickly as well too. But they also have an ability to be long-term. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the air signs, because I've been talking about the earth signs a lot. So the air signs are Gemini, we have Libra, and we have Aquarius. Okay, now the air signs are really lucky as well too in 2019, because Jupiter is in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, and fire is a really good element to go well with air. Okay, so when you have Jupiter in a fire sign, you're also dealing with the air signs as well, because what happens when fire and air are together? Whenever air enters fire, it creates a bigger fire. Okay, so air feeds the fire. Okay. Now, a lot of you, the reason why I say it's beneficial for a lot, if you have any signs, if you're a sun, moon, or rising in an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini, Jupiter is aspecting each of your signs. Okay, so it's creating a really good aspect. Okay, you see how Jupiter is really close to Aquarius, it's really close to Libra, and it's really, really close to, well, actually it's very far from Gemini. But here's the thing, I'm gonna tell you why it's beneficial even for Geminis. Jupiter is good to have in your seventh house. Okay, so when you're a Gemini rising, you're going to have Jupiter in your seventh house. That means a lot of Geminis are going to find their wealth in 2019 through other people. Okay, the seventh house represents marriage and it represents a business. So a lot of you have the ability to make money through, a partnership that you're in or through a business endeavor that you create. Okay. Now, when we're talking about Aquarius, okay, we're talking about 2 signs back. And Aquarius deals with groups, large groups. So a lot of Aquarius people now are associated with large groups of people that can help them. Okay, so Aquarius through large groups of people. And Libra can really benefit this year in 2019 through communication, through broadcasting and publishing books, communication, doing seminars. Okay, so this is why it's important to understand that every single sign is rich. Every sign has the potential to be rich if they really want to be rich. But you have to know where Jupiter is in your chart. Where is Jupiter in your chart? And you have to maximize when Jupiter is in a certain sign because it only stays in a certain sign for 1 year. Okay, only stays in that sign for 1 year. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the water signs and then I'm going to go and talk about each sign individually. Okay, I'm going to talk about each sign individually and discuss for about 2 to 5 minutes how the planet Jupiter can really benefit you and how you can use the rest of the 9 months of the year to really maximize the most that you can, to maximize your work, to maximize your business, to maximize your relationships by using the planet Jupiter. Okay, so I'm going to do that in a moment. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to discuss the water signs, okay? Because the water signs that we have here are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Those are the 3 water signs, okay? Now, last year we had Jupiter. I'm going to take my planet Jupiter here. I'm going to put it in Scorpio. Okay. So last year we had Jupiter in Scorpio. A lot of Scorpios were benefiting from Jupiter in their sign. If you're a Scorpio, you probably had a lot of luck in the past year or 2. Things were going well for you. I know some people, experience things that they never experienced for a very long time. Success. They experience a lot of, ability to conquer goals that they usually wouldn't, notoriety, and all of that. Now, as soon as Jupiter leaves your sign, it basically, it's not that you lose your luck. It's just that Jupiter was in your sign and it's not anymore. So this is what I learned. Okay, I learned that whenever Jupiter leaves your sign, you're not as lucky as you thought you were before. Okay, I think of luck as, some guy dodging bullets and he's literally dancing in the middle of the street, and even though people are shooting, he never gets shot. That's what it's like to have Jupiter in your sign. So the water signs were very lucky last year. It doesn't mean that they're not lucky this year, because again, Jupiter is always aspecting. Okay, so in a way, Scorpio is actually very lucky. Even though Jupiter left, every time Jupiter leaves your sign to go to the following sign, it enters your 2nd house. And remember down here, I talked about Uranus being in Taurus. Well, Taurus is ruled by the 2nd house. But if we're talking about a Scorpio rising, okay, let's say Scorpios, this is on your, don't mind my circle. It's kind of a little, yeah. But you see Scorpio here, right? So Scorpios, if you're a rising Scorpio, that's your first house. So Jupiter is in your second house. And the second house rules money. So a lot of Scorpios are experiencing, good money coming in, or can experience good money coming in. But one of the main things that you have to keep in mind, especially if you're a Scorpio, and I'm not going to talk about this too long because I'm going to talk about each sign anyways, is that we have an aspect between Jupiter and Neptune. And I'm going to talk about Jupiter and Neptune, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. I want to finish up the water signs. So Cancer as well, they're also going through a lot of changes as well too. But Jupiter is in their 8th house. So a lot of Cancer people are making money off of, other people's money. They're making money off of other people's investments, or they could be. So if you're not making money off of other people's investments, you could be. That's something that is a potential for you to do because of where Jupiter is in your chart. Now, the last sign I want to talk about is Pisces. Now, Pisces has a square to Jupiter. So a lot of Pisces may feel like their luck is disillusioned, like it doesn't really exist. But that, again, is not true because everybody has luck in their chart. You have to figure out where the luck is. And a lot of people feel disillusioned. What do I mean by disillusioned? I'm talking about Neptune being in Pisces. It's a very spiritual and meditative planet where a lot of people feel like they're being defeated. They feel like, oh, I don't even know if luck is true or real. Okay. And that can happen when we have a heavy square between Jupiter and Neptune. Okay. Yeah. So that is the case with that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, the last thing I want to mention about the water signs is, even though Jupiter is in a fire sign, you guys are still lucky, but there's a different way of going about it. Okay. Don't think because something isn't in your sign or it's not in compatible signs, because water and fire are not really compatible. Fire puts water out. Water puts fire out. And fire boils water. So fire can make a water sign feel pressure. And then water can drain a fire energy out. So it's really important for you to understand the elements and how the elements work. But like I said, nobody is one sign. So everybody has different feelings towards what is going on in the chart. Now, I recommend how you read and understand how you're lucky is through your rising sign. And a rising sign is the time that you were born. So if you were born, let's say at 1 o'clock or at 12 o'clock, you might be a Libra rising. So that means this would be your first house. And your second house would be Scorpio, and so on and so forth. Okay. So a lot of you really have to understand this information. You got to understand where your rising sign is for me to interpret where Jupiter is in your planet. So if you don't know where your rising sign is, I highly suggest I'll put a link below, okay? And the link below will take you where you can type in your information. And when you type in your information, it's going to give you your chart. And it's going to look like this. Probably not as crazy as my circle. It's going to be a more proper circle. But it's going to give you your sun, moon, and rising sign. So your rising sign is the first, you're going to have the first house, which is here, and it's going to give you whatever sign. And when you scroll down, it's going to say ascending sign or rising sign, and it's going to tell you. So once you know what that sign is, you can listen to my interpretation for each sign. So even though let's say you're an Aries, you're a sun Aries, you were born as an Aries, you may be a rising Cancer. So if you're a rising Cancer, you have to listen to the forecast that I have for the rest of the year for the richest signs, okay? The richest signs of the year, okay? And I don't just mean, one sign being rich. I mean, every sign has the potential to be rich if they use the area that Jupiter is in. So Jupiter is in a certain area of your chart. You have to know where that is in order to maximize. Okay. So I'm going to start with Aries. Aries, you have, so this is house 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have Jupiter in your 9th house. A lot of Aries are going to get rich and be successful through travel, foreign languages, different foods from different cultures, higher education. Okay. Those are the areas that you really can maximize. Particularly Aries who are traveling and doing business traveling abroad will find that they're a lot more successful than they would be if they're in their own hometown. So the question is, how do you maximize? You maximize by traveling, mingling with people that are not local, mingling with people in foreign overseas countries, maybe even investing in a restaurant that deals with foreign food. Okay. This is how Aries is going to find their success in 2019. Now, for the sign of Taurus, Taurus has Uranus moving into its sign. So a lot of you are going to be going through a lot of changes in 2019. But also, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have Jupiter in your 8th house. What does that mean? A lot of Tauruses are benefiting from other people's money. That means that those of you who are making investments should use other people's money in order to invest, because by you using somebody else's money, you're more likely to be lucky and successful than you would be if you invest your own money. A lot of Tauruses can be stubborn and want to do things their own way. But what is being asked of them in 2019 is they're being asked how they can use other people's money to get what they want. How can you take somebody's money, invest it, make more, pay yourself, and then pay that person back? That's how Taurus is going to make money in 2019 to be the richest sign. Gemini has this, like I said, it's opposite. So it's in its 7th house. A lot of you are going to benefit from getting married this year. A lot of you will get tax breaks, which saves money. When you save money, you become richer. Okay. A lot of you might start a business with a business partner. That's another way you can make money too, because a lot of your energy, Geminis, are focused on other people. Your luck is going to come from other people, not from yourself. It's going to come from other people, from outside sources. That is really good for Gemini because Gemini needs stimulation. Gemini is a sign that constantly needs to communicate. And having Jupiter in your 7th house is actually ruled by Libra. The 7th house is ruled by Libra. So that is very highly compatible to Geminis. So Gemini, if you're interested in becoming wealthier, perhaps getting married or starting a business with somebody that you trust, will be very beneficial for you. Okay. Cancer is going to benefit off of working every single day. If you are a Cancer and you have a daily job that you go to, you're going to be lucky by working every day at that job. Okay. The 6th house talks about your everyday life, what you're doing every single day. Okay. You might be working a job. You may be an entrepreneur, building your business, whatever you're doing every day. Even some of you might just be walking around the block. Some of you could walk around the block and learn how to capitalize walking around the block because it's something that you do every day. So the idea of this information is to say, okay, how can I take this information and, open my eyes to see where I can benefit and make money? Okay. Some of you are sleeping and don't even know that you can make money off of your daily routine. Some of you have some of you Cancer people have such an interesting life that if you videotaped your life, and people saw that, they'd be interested in it because it's just so interesting for them to watch. So Cancers, look at your day-to-day life. How can you capitalize and maximize on your day-to-day life? How can you use your day-to-day activities to make money? That's a good question. Okay. Leo, the sign of Leo. You have Jupiter in your fifth house, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jupiter in the fifth house represents an expansion of romance. Okay. Romance, children, sex. A lot of you are making your money off of having children. Some of you are expanding your family. A lot of you also are using romance, as a way to make money, okay, through romance. Maybe some of you have pets and you're using your pets in certain competitions. I know, when you have pets and they're going to competitions, if your dog or cat wins in these competitions or your animal, then you can make money. You can benefit off of this energy that's happening, right, with these animals. Okay. Romance is really good for Leo in 2019, and romance can really bring, I think of romance like The Bachelor. Okay. These people are capitalizing off of people falling in love with one another. So how can Leo use their experience through romance to benefit and make money? Okay. That's another possibility as well too. All right. Another thing too, the fifth house is ruled by sex. I'm not advocating this, but sometimes porn is another way that, people can make money. I'm not advocating this, guys. I'm not saying go out and do this. I'm just saying this is how some of you might be making money. Not all of you, but some of you. Okay. I'm just being real with it. So some of you might be using that to also make money as well too, because Jupiter is there. Jupiter is in the fifth house. Okay. So a lot of Leos are going to be using, especially this year is beneficial for Leo because Leo actually rules the fifth house. So if you're a rising Leo, a lot of you are going to be, doing a lot of, a lot of things with maybe your children. There's, children might be involved. Maybe you have a business with your children or something like that. Okay. There's that possibility. Okay. I'm going to move to Virgo. Virgo, Jupiter is in your fourth house. And the fourth house, we're talking about family and home. So a lot of you are making money off of your family or making money with your family through a family business as well. And Virgo is very interested in, a lot of you have a good connection with your mother, okay? Or your mother may have played a significant role now in your life, or maybe she did play a significant role, but Jupiter is here nonetheless. So anything that's feminine is also a very important aspect for Virgo. So, I think of like feminine jewelry, or I think about feminine clothing, or I think about, feminine products like maybe perfumes and oils. That's something that Virgo can really benefit off of this year because the fourth house is ruled by, family, home, the feminine is ruled by Cancer. So, anything to do with arts and crafts is also really good too, Virgo, if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, moving on to Libra. Libra, right now, you have it in the third house. You have Jupiter in the third house. A lot of you are benefiting off of publishing books. Publish a book, okay? Get on the radio. Make a YouTube channel. Anybody who's a Libra right now has so many opportunities in that area. Publishing books, writing, teaching, educating people on knowledge that you know about. That's how Libras are going to become the richest sign in 2019. Then we move to Scorpio. Scorpio had Jupiter in their sign last year. And Scorpios, like I said, were reaping the benefits. A lot of them, got, their first experience of wealth last year. A lot of you had milestones that you hit, and you never hit those milestones before. And now you're reaping the benefits of those hard works that you were doing last year. So a lot of you are benefiting financially because Jupiter is in your second house. Sagittarius is ruling uh, Scorpio's second house. Okay. So, with that being the case here, a lot of Scorpios are sitting back now and collecting money off of their previous investment of last year. Okay. So, what I would suggest for Scorpios to be the richest, wealthiest sign in 2019 is to reinvest their money. If you have money that you already made from last year, do not go and spend that money like a crazy person. And I don't think Scorpios do, because Scorpios are usually really financially literate unless there's something in their chart that says otherwise. But take that money that you made last year, Scorpio, and reinvest it so that you can make more, so that next year you could still reap the benefits. Okay. Capricorn has Jupiter in the 12th house. So a lot of Capricorns might feel like they're unlucky right now. But if you're a smart person, I'll give you an example of a smart Capricorn. Michelle Obama. She's very smart. She knows that she's, maybe she's not a rising Capricorn. I don't know what her rising sign is, but she's smart because she knows that by putting out a book now, she put out a book a couple months ago or whatever. I don't know, maybe last year or something. She put it out in the beginning of the year. She's reaping the benefits now because everybody wants to read her book. So that when Jupiter enters Capricorn, she's going to reap the benefits. So she's ahead of the game, way ahead of the game. Whereas some Capricorns are kind of just sitting down and they're like, look at me, I'm going through this hard time. Nobody cares about me. Everybody's against me. But no, there's actually a lot to learn from the experience that you're going through. And you can also benefit from reap the rewards from a situation that might not be serving you. Okay. It might not be serving you, but if you learn to turn something that's not so great into something that is great, you can really benefit, Capricorn. You can really benefit, but you have to want to do it. So when Jupiter is in your 12th house, that's the house of spirituality. A lot of you are going to find your answers on how to make money and how to be successful by meditating, by really sitting down and asking yourself what you want. Forget about all the noise. Forget about all the drama. A lot of you are going through drama. Forget about all that. What you need to do now is sit down and meditate. And, I think personally, because Capricorn is an earth sign, I'm thinking, go into like the rainforest or something, or go somewhere where it's nice. You could sit down, you can meditate on a rock and just think about what you want in this life. Because once Jupiter crosses the threshold into your sign, you're going to have so much luck. You might not see it right now, but trust me, it's going to come to you. Okay. So just keep in mind that there's something that you're going through, but you can use what you've been going through so you can reap the benefits. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about Aquarius. Aquarius has Jupiter in the 11th house. So a lot of Aquarius people are benefiting from groups, from large groups of people. Okay, large groups of people. So some of you, let's say you have a strong cause. You have you believe in, equality for all animals. Okay. Creating a group of people who support animals would be good. And doing philanthropical, if that's the right word. Philanthropical, I'm having problems saying this word. It must be Mercury retrograde. Philanthropy is a really good thing that Aquarius can do. And Aquarius is very into philanthropy because Aquarius actually rules. It actually rules philanthropy, and it actually rules the 11th house. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Jupiter is in the 11th house for Aquarius, and we're talking about large groups. We're talking about charities. That's where Aquarius is going to make their money. And a lot of people might say, well, you don't really make money off of charity. You don't, but it's tax free. And a lot of the business expenses are tax free. And you know what? People still pay themselves if they work in charities. They may not get as much money, but they still get paid, and they get paid pretty well. So Aquarius, if you haven't thought about maybe starting a charity or getting involved in large groups, that can really, really benefit you. Okay, that can really benefit you. Okay. And the 12th house, we have Pisces, is ruled by the 12th house. And you have right now, Pisces, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have Sagittarius in your 10th house. A lot of Pisces are benefiting from their career. So if you have a career that you're really passionate about, Pisces, keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing your energy into your career. I see a lot of Piscearians on YouTube. So if you're doing YouTube videos, keep doing that. If you are interested in expanding a business that you already have, that's another thing that you can also do, Pisces. What you should really be doing is that you should be focusing on your career, Pisces. Anything to do with your career, to advance your career and your status in the world. So make sure you're getting out there. People are seeing you, seeing what you're doing, and experiencing what you have to offer, because a lot of Pisces have something to offer through their career. Okay. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think I've covered every sign. Which signs are the richest this year. All signs are the richest. All signs have the potential to be rich. The best indicator to find how you could be rich is through Jupiter. Okay, so everybody has Jupiter in a certain area of their chart. If you don't know what your rising sign is, please make sure you click the link below in the description box. Figure out what your rising sign is. It's also beneficial to know what your rising sign is, so that when you do subscribe to my channel, I will be coming out with monthly forecasts every single month. I'm also going to be doing monthly readings. So every 2 weeks, I'm going to come out with different readings as well too for you. And if there's a certain planet that's moving into a new sign, I'm going to also talk about that. So it's important that you know your rising sign, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my chart here, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk about where the planets are for you and how they're going to affect you. Knowing this information is going to prepare you, especially if you have a business, if you have a relationship, if you're just looking to expand your horizons in understanding life more. It's better to understand and know things before they happen and be prepared for them. Not as a prediction, but just as a precaution. I like to use astrology as a precaution. I don't believe in predictive astrology. I like to do some of that too with the angel cards, but I really like to look at these aspects because it will prepare you for what may happen in the future. And it's better to know where the detour is so that you can avoid the detour and go around it. Okay. So I hope you guys like this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will be doing more videos on each sign, what I think about each sign, how to benefit and maximize as your own sign. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.